I go where I am known. I go where I'm not an illusion. Where I go, I've noticed. Everybody goes there. Everybody goes there.
Hello and welcome to Around Town TV, America's lifestyle and business experts. We've been featuring and bringing you the best kept secrets, businesses, organizations, and people since 2003. We are Minneapolis-St. Paul, the Twin Cities' longest airing television community showcase. And tonight I am thrilled to have back the founder and president of Flags for Fort Snelling. Please welcome Joanne Malmstedt.
Hello.
Well, and like the post says, 11 years, 1 million flags placed, and thousands of volunteers. You know what? Before we get into that, I just want to make sure. Yep, we are online. Okay, perfect. All of a sudden, when I first looked at Facebook, it didn't show us. And so I thought, okay, I want to make sure before we go through all this that we are. So, okay, back to why we're here. Tomorrow for Flags for Fort Snelling, before we get into this, the volunteer registration opens April 8th, tomorrow at 10 a.m. And the link is above us. So go to the link and click on that. And we'll get into a little bit more about that. You can request a flag to be placed on a headstone of your loved one and or donate if you cannot attend Memorial Weekend. And you'll understand what we are talking about here in a little bit. But before we get into that, for those who may or maybe haven't seen you on our show the past couple of years, what is Flags for Fort Snelling?
Yeah, so we are just a small local nonprofit. And what we do is we fundraise all year, we accept donations, and our sole mission is to make sure that everybody that's laid to rest out at Fort Snelling National Cemetery receives the flag for honor and remembrance and thanks that they have so rightfully earned.
Absolutely. And for those who aren't familiar, Flags for Fort Snelling is a nonprofit, and Joanne does not, the staff is 100%, including Joanne, volunteers. So they are, every donation goes to the actual organization for both placement and any of those types of expenses. Joanne, if you wouldn't mind sharing what you really do, well, really, this is a full-time job as well, but what you do for the job that pays the bills.
Yeah. So aside from the thousands and thousands of hours with Flags for Fort Snelling every year, on season and off season, I am a mechanical adjuster at Federal Ammunition in Anoka. And I also am the owner and operator of a commercial and residential cleaning business called 𝗪𝗡𝗖𝗔𝗄𝐿 LLC.
Of course, Patriot. And speaking of Patriots, I have to share my patriotic earrings that I wore just for the show tonight. And for those of you, feel free if you want to comment. We can see all of your comments, or I can for sure, and we will respond. I know we're going out to multiple platforms at once, which is why I wanted to check the main page, and we are there too. And the reason I wanted Joanne to share her a little bit about what she does to keep the roof over the head, in addition to this full-time job, is for those of you who may be interested in utilizing those services, I always like to support those who not only support around town, but specifically our veterans. And to explain that this truly is a nonprofit, 100% backed by volunteers.
100%.
Yeah. So for those who, I did say 11 years in the intro, but maybe give a little bit about the history and the background of Flags for Fort Snelling.
Yeah. So we are going into our 11th year of flag placement. But when it started, it really just started as a teaching moment for my kids. I found out that they didn't understand the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. They thought they were just two basically of the same days. And so I had called the cemetery to inquire how we can help put flags out so I could show my children this is who Memorial Day is honoring. And I learned through that phone call that they don't place flags any longer on the headstones at Fort Snelling National Cemetery at the time. And so what I did is I just jumped on Facebook and let everybody know what I just learned, because I was extremely disheartened by I just assumed it was done. It's a national cemetery. And said, told everybody I'm going out with my kids if anybody would like to join us. There was a group of about 15 of us that went out on that Memorial Day morning, and we put out about 3,700 of those little stick flags. And while we were out there, the news was setting up for the ceremony later that morning and asked us what we were doing and asked to do an interview. And the response from that interview when it aired online was amazing. Much like myself, there were the majority that had no clue that the flags were not being placed any longer. And through that article and the response that article got, I ended up having a request from some of the deputy director of Fort Snelling National Cemetery for a sit-down meeting. And through that meeting, he thanked me for what we did, because it's not known that they don't place the flags. And then he explained to me why. And at the time, it had been just over 30 years since flags had been placed on headstones and footstones out at Fort Snelling National Cemetery. And that was because a big learning lesson for me is the majority of the national cemeteries across the country all fall under the VA umbrella. They're not like Arlington. So those cemeteries that fall under the VA umbrella, much like everything else falling under, those umbrellas, you have to petition for your budget. And as things grow and budgets get cut, you just have to cut back on things, and placing the flags was one of them. They were no longer able to purchase the flags or be able to get the foot power, the manpower to be able to put those flags out as the cemetery grew. So that's where I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. At the time, I had no business doing it as a single mom of 3 very young children, working 2 jobs. But I screamed it from the mountaintops. I'm going to do this. And so
you did it.
And we did it. So the first year we put out 10,000 flags that were 27-inch flagstaff. So they were much bigger than the little stick flags. We put 10,000 that first year. The second year we put out 50,000. And that third year I was really hoping to put out, 75 to 100,000. And we were just lucky enough to be able to, get the coverage from media and from 𝗂𝗲𝗏 sponsoring us and the Mall of America wanting to help us out. And we blew up. And that third year, we were able to raise enough funds and get enough flags made for us that we were able to cover the entire cemetery that third year. And then, if I can remember right, it was about 174,000 flags at that time.
Okay.
And
how many is it now?
Last year, we placed just under 194,000 flags.
So that means everybody at Fort Snelling that is laid to rest there receives a flag?
Everybody, whether they're headstone, footstone, or in the niches in the columbariums, everybody that is laid to rest out there, and even those that are not laid to rest there, but that are that have a plaque on the memorial wall, we still place a flag for those as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for what you do. I know you have a father that's laid to rest there. What branch did he serve in?
He was in the Army.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll mention this periodically. My dad was a proud Vietnam Navy veteran, and he is laid to rest there. My mother is with him there as well. And I just love, so for those of you who don't understand what this is, so every year I go on and I request a flag to be placed on the headstone of my dad. And in addition to that, I also donate. There is no cost attached to request a flag to be placed, but I try to donate so that everybody can continue to receive a flag. And then you will see on Facebook, you'll receive an email of that, or I have in the past, an email with a picture and then a beautiful sentiment from the organization, but it's also placed on Facebook as well. Is that correct? Will that continue?
That is correct. That will continue. So that initially started when we were only able to place a small amount of flags. And why we did that is because those people that have loved ones out there that weren't in the small areas that we could place, it allowed us to be able to kind of branch out and be able to honor more through those requests. And as we've grown and been able to cover the entire cemetery, the name of those is deceiving, but we've had it. I don't want to change the name because it's been part of us from day one. But it is a little deceiving because even if you put a flag placement request in, or you don't put one in, that your loved one or that family member, whoever it may be, is still going to receive a flag placed for them. But what it does now is it will get you a photo, as you stated, emailed to you, and then also posted on our Facebook page. So if you can't make it out to the cemetery grounds for whatever the reason is, whether it's location, health issues, or weather, anything, you're able to still be able to see your loved one be honored with the flag.
Well, and one of the things we've talked about in the past on this show, getting ready for this, is, a lot of people think of Memorial Day as a time for barbecues or a day off of work. And yes, it's always great to get your loved ones together, but to truly honor the reason for Memorial Day, people who made the ultimate sacrifice for us in serving our countries, and many then made the ultimate sacrifice while serving our country and died for us, for our freedoms and rights. So and they've been preserved and protected because of people like that. And thank you for making sure they're honored every year.
Absolutely.
Now, for those interested in signing up tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the link above for volunteer placement slots, some of them fill up really quickly, like in an hour.
Yeah, less than.
Yes, less than sometimes. So we'll talk about some of the volunteer positions and what they are. The flag placements, there's for both company and organizational groups, as well as then also individual and family and friend groups that can sign up. Is that correct?
Correct. The company and group ones is going to be on Saturday. Okay. And that is for 10 or more people. It has to be a minimum of 10 people. And then the other ones where it's family or individual, those are going to be on Sunday.
That's awesome. Okay. And flag collection, explain what that is.
Well, so not just putting the flags in the ground is what completes our mission. We have to also then go back out and pick all of the flags back up. And we have to make sure that we do that so we can repair and maintain all of the flags that we can to sustain the use of them from year to year. Just because if we had to purchase new flags every year to cover the cemetery, we wouldn't be able to sustain this for one more year going forward. Because as it stands today, each flag is about $1 a piece.
Wow.
So we have to, it's very important just to be able to go and get those flags to make sure that we can then fulfill our mission as a whole and make sure that next year and the year after that and the year after that, that we are able to sustain this tradition that we've brought back to Fort Snelling National Cemetery.
Well, and you said right now you had as you do every year. I know last year was a big one because some had been, it had mold. And yes. What you have like 30,000 in your garage, or?
Yeah. So right now I have 30,000 new flags in my garage. And within the next couple of weeks, I will be starting to water seal all of them. The first few years out of my garage as well, my kids and I water sealed all of the flags. And those flags still to this day are perfect. So as we grew and we blew up so big that third year, we weren't able to continue to do that. And it just kind of was something that we didn't do after that until we had a very wet year. And we lost so many flags due to the mold and the moisture that we couldn't dry them out in time before that mold set in. Mm-hmm. So last year we went back to water sealing all of them again. So we started water sealing all the existing flags, and then now we are making sure that as we get new ones every year, those are water sealed before they even make it out to the cemetery.
Yeah, so there's a lot involved. So that's the flag collection where we were talking about that. But I wanted her to explain that to you. Headstone ushers, explain what that volunteer role means or is.
Yeah, so headstone ushers are crucial for us. It's more of an organizational volunteer spot, more of a leadership spot. And what the headstone ushers are is they are kind of our eyes and ears out in the cemetery sections. They're our quality control, and they are the point of immediate contact for the volunteers while they're out in the cemetery grounds if there's any issues or any questions. And they serve also as a pace for the volunteers. So as the volunteers get sent to the sections with their flags, we're not just scattering like ants. Those headstone ushers are very visible in high-vis yellow vests with walkie-talkies. And this year they will also have some high-vis flags that you'll be able to see them when they hold them up easier if they're further down the sections. But they also act as the pace for placement to ensure that we're not skipping any headstones in the middle of rows or any.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, so some very important positions mentioned. What is a flag runner?
A flag runner is, it ties back in with our flag placement requests. Initially, they were the ones that would go out and place that flag for that flag placement request and then take the picture. Now that everybody that's laid to rest out there is honored with a flag, they now get the list and they will go out after that flag is placed and then take the photo and upload it and make sure that it gets sent out via email and to our website for the requester.
Got it. Okay. And flag tote filler, what is that?
Yeah, so that is going to be a volunteer position for Friday. That position is great for those that walking through the cemetery grounds is a little rough on the uneven ground or just walking that far in general, because it can be a seated position or standing, however you would like it. And what we're doing is for that is we have blue reusable tote bags that we use for our volunteers on Sunday. And the tote bag filler position is you are going to be taking an allotted amount of bundles out of each tote, and then you're going to be filling each bag with a certain amount of bundles and then setting that aside. And so you're really helping us get prepared for the 1,200 volunteers that are just the flag placement volunteers, 1,200 on Sunday. That's really getting us kind of prepared and set up for them to make Sunday a lot smoother for us as well as for all of the volunteers showing up.
That's awesome. And merchandise managers, you want to explain? I know you've got new merchandise this year.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll have a lot new apparel that you can pick through on our link when it's available. It should be available here soon. We'll go ahead and announce that when it is. Okay. But then we'll have new items out at the cemetery as well at our merchandise table. And what those merchandise managers are is you are part of what helps us staff that merchandise table. You will either be helping collect donations if anybody comes in with donations, or any of the other merchandise that's there. And anybody that purchases apparel ahead of time through the link can choose to have their clothing picked up out at the cemetery grounds. So then you'll be able to disperse those items that were pre-ordered to the volunteers out at the cemetery when they get there.
That's fantastic. And then greeter, I'm assuming, a lot of these are self-explanatory, but the greeter, do they greet people as they're arriving?
Yeah, so they would be part of the team that is at our register or our check-in table, and they'll be greeting everybody as they come in, checking their name off, and then wristbanding the registered volunteers, and then just making sure that everybody has what they need as they cross that check-in point.
Well, and if anybody that's online watching is thinking, well, that's all fine and dandy, whether you want to place a flag on a loved one's headstone officially or volunteer, and then some of you are probably not able to, whether it's work, family commitments, not able to, mobility challenges, you don't have to. You can also support through going to the website and hitting that donate button. and no amount is too little. All is appreciated. For the organization, is 100% of the funds go to making sure this happens every year. There's no administration that's paid for salaries. Everybody is a volunteer, including Joanne, who is a founder and president of the organization. Joanne, what is your vision for the future for Flags for Fort Snelling?
My dream is that we can make this happen at every other national cemetery that falls under the VA umbrella across the country.
Wow.
So that way we can ensure that every veteran that's laid to rest in a national cemetery receives the flag that they've rightfully earned.
I should know this, but how many cemeteries besides Arlington, in addition to Fort Snelling? I don't know.
I want to say, so I could be totally wrong. I want to say there's like 100 and.
Oh, wow.
I'm not even gonna. I say there's over 100.
Wow.
Because there are a lot of states that have multiple. The larger states have multiple.
Okay, that makes sense. And sorry, I put you on the spot on that one.
No,
I didn't tell her I was gonna. Yeah, I just was curious. And but what a vision and what a dream. And the donations can help support that as the more people have that vision and dream coming true. I know it's going to take a lot because I know what it takes to make this one happen, but okay.
Yeah. The donations will be able to, for now, that's just kind of pipe dream down, a little bit further down the line. So all donations now will help us, if it's overage for what we need for this year, that's great. It will help us towards next year and the year after that, and just kind of sustain each year from here to come. But once we get to the point, I'm going to say once we get there, once we get to the point to where we can really start branching out, it will be, everything will be able to go towards each cemetery for each region. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Oh, I'm manifesting that for you, just for all of our soldiers. And yes. And for those of you who want to receive information, so you know about this every year, in addition to Around Town or when I'm posting, you can sign up for information. They have an email list, and I can tell you, you won't be bombarded. You will receive one, if two, that'll just with the facts. You won't. I love that about your organization. And so if you're not already signed up, please do so. And please make an official placement for your loved one. It doesn't cost anything. They're already receiving a flag, and then that way you can receive a picture if you're not able to make it out there. What else haven't we discussed regarding flags for Fort Snelling, or anything else that you think needs to be shared with our viewers?
Well, if you're not able to make it out there on Memorial Weekend, because we do finish placing the flags Sunday evening, because it's just so busy, and especially on Monday is another really busy day with just normal traffic through there. If you take away all of the extra traffic that we add to complete our flags do stay up for that entire week. So if you can't or don't want to come out there during the hustle bustle of Memorial Weekend, stop out during the week. Even if you don't have anybody that's buried out there, or you may not know anybody out there, I would highly suggest just going out there and taking it in. It is one of the most breathtaking and just humbling and rewarding sights to be able to see a flag on every resting place out at Fort Snelling National Cemetery. And it's just amazing to see. It's beautiful. Almost 200,000 waving flags.
It's awe-inspiring, breathtaking, like you said. It's just gives me tears every time that I'm able to view it. Yeah, thank you. Anything else that we haven't covered that you think our viewers should know?
I don't think so. Just another reminder that if you are interested in volunteering for any of our spots, the registration opens up tomorrow at 10 a.m. and they do fill up fast. Last year, the 1,200 spots for flag placement position, just on Sunday alone, 1,200 spots filled up in under 37 minutes. So if that's something that you really want to try and get into, I would highly suggest making sure you have an alarm set so you don't miss it.
And be on right away.
Yeah.
I love that so many people are wanting to make this such a special weekend. And this is an entire weekend event. So again, if you're gone or not available at Memorial Day, all the flags are placed, what, Saturday and Sunday? Or
Saturday and Sunday.
okay, sounds good. Anything else that we haven't covered?
Just a huge thank you for you for helping like spread this and share this and continuing to share this and
Every year.
Yeah, and to all of our other volunteers and supporters and those that are just possibly learning about us and that are going to go and check us out. Just a huge thank you, because we could invent the wheel, we could come up with the idea, but there's no way we could actually put it into motion and make it happen if we didn't have all of the support and the amazing volunteers that we have.
Well, and I want to especially thank you for all you do to lead the many thousands of volunteers. Like we said in the beginning, 11 years you've been doing this.
Yeah.
1 million plus flags that have been placed thanks to you and all the volunteers, including your family. I know your girls are a big part of this, correct?
Yeah, my girls and my son.
And your son.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you to them. I know they're big backers of not only you personally, but of this organization, and to all those that have been involved. Again, that Flags for Fort Snelling link is right above the video, wherever you're watching this. And if you happen to see this and catch this later, please go to that and officially place a flag for your loved one, or be ready to go at 10 a.m. tomorrow to sign up for volunteer positions. And if you can't, donate. Even $1, $5, each flag is $1. I every year try to donate between $50 and $100 so that we can continue to replace the flags and support this incredible organization, and then also your dream and vision to grow it. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. And we will, this Friday, I will be live from the red carpet for the Upper Midwest 𝗪𝗻𝗵 Student Foundation Production Awards. So catch me there interviewing students from across the Upper Midwest and educators and their parents and family that are there to receive classroom grants, awards, as well as scholarships. And of course, the 𝗪𝗏 Family Foundation Award. Our recipient is Gretchen Fuller this year, and we're so thrilled for her. So I'll be doing not only this show, but I'll be live from the red carpet, and then I'll be back next week for both Around Town TV Live and Car Talk with Carla. Any other shout outs before we close? Joanne, anyone you want?
To everybody.
Everybody. Thank you.
Everybody.
Oh. Well, I, again, appreciate you, and we'll make it a date next year, same time, right here on Around Town TV. How about
that? Absolutely. Until then, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you Friday and/or next week right here on Around Town TV Live. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.